Are you stuck in a relationship where you feel like you are wanting them to choose you? You are begging for attention, you're getting breadcrumbed, you break up, you get back together, you say things you wish you wouldn't have said because you were reacting. They push you away, they withdraw their love because they're controlling and manipulating you. You do the same back, but claim that it's love, and yet you are just obsessed over trying to make this work, and it keeps going up and down and push and pull and breaking up and getting back together. If this is your situation, this video is for you. If you don't know me, my name's Deborah. I'm a transformational healer and intuitive coach, and I myself have been through this, and this is why I'm doing this video on trauma bonds. Now, sometimes when you meet someone like I did, I really felt that there was a recognition, maybe a past life, and a love there. And I do feel that genuinely there was a love in the beginning, but there were subconscious tendencies at play on my side and probably on his side as well. But for me, what I didn't realize is that I had these tendencies going on, even though I had done a lot of healing work up until that point. I still didn't realize that this need to be chosen was predominant. And this came from my childhood. It doesn't always come from childhood with some people. They may have had great childhoods and then maybe had some bad experiences as adults. But in my case, I really didn't feel chosen or worthy, or, having that emotional stability with my parents, feeling my nervous system regulation, feeling that self esteem. I didn't feel that. I had to find it on my own. But it's not that these people were bad people. It's just that they weren't able to give that to me, what I was craving. So I went into adulthood wanting to be chosen subconsciously and thinking that I would feel better if, especially in this relationship, if they really chose me. But instead, I got the opposite. Why? Because I was begging. I had that desperate energy. Now, over time in the connection with this person, things would get better because I would release, I would let go. But I still subconsciously had this drive to make something work where the person was clearly showing me signs and red flags that it wasn't possible. It really went against what I wanted. And what I wanted was someone who was stable emotionally, who would show up for me and allow me to give as much as they gave to me. That was the healthy relationship I was craving. I also had several items on my list that were deal breakers. And yet I allowed the connection with this person to be deal breakers in my space. And then on top of it, I'm trying to make this work with someone who, looking back now, clearly wasn't wanting the same thing as I did. If you find yourself in this kind of situation where they are, you're an option, you're not really, you're one of several. um, and yet you've got these blinders on, like, this is my person, and you can't let go of that attachment. That is a lot of suffering. There's a lot of suffering there. And I know so many people who are going through it or have gone through it, including myself. And it is extremely painful. So, how do you get out of it? How do you get out of this? Okay, so sometimes you get discarded and that will push you out. But are you truly out of it? Most of the time, when you get discarded, your mind is looping. It is going through rumination. You are just ruminating, like, what if I could have said this, if I would have done this, maybe if I wouldn't have said that, maybe we wouldn't have broken up, whatever it is. It's this repetitive mind that goes over and over and over again. So how do you deal with that? You start to release. That's what I teach with my groups and my one-on-ones in my sessions is, first you release. Release. And how do you do this? So what happens is you set an intention. Every time you set an intention, this is going to help you to release what's subconsciously running the show. And in this case, in a trauma bond, your subconscious mind was running the show, wanting to be chosen and coming from the sense of lack. And usually when you get involved with somebody like that too, they're also coming from a sense of lack. They may appear like they're not, but they really are. Because it's two people wanting to fill a void. And sometimes when someone's not faithful, they're trying to fill a void through several people. And they are the most insecure than you could ever be. The way to do this is to release what's in the way. So first, you set an intention. I allow myself to have the perfect partner. Whatever the intention is, it's going to invite all of the doubts and everything that's in the way, which are your thoughts that will prevent you from having a healthy relationship with someone. That's when your conscious mind starts to look at the subconscious mind, and you become aware of a lot of irrational thoughts. And basically, these thoughts are limiting beliefs about yourself that you've made up your mind, probably in childhood or even adulthood, about yourself based on your experiences. And so when you are with parents that maybe don't treat you right, and you come out of that feeling like, what's wrong with me? I don't understand. I don't feel loved. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel chosen. Most likely you're going to choose someone who does the same thing to you because you haven't healed it, because it's still in your field, because what you're projecting in your mind about yourself is being reflected back. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. But when you see it, you can't unsee it. So when you start to release, you become aware. The awareness, the beingness inside of you starts to become aware of these thoughts that are running the show. And they're limiting beliefs about yourself, about others, about love, about the world. And that's when the fun begins, because then you can start to see, oh my God, I've been holding on to these for eons. Now I can release them. How do you release them? You stop paying attention. They're emotionally charged, and you're believing something about yourself that is completely not true. Why is it not true? I mean, how can you not take it personally if you're involved with somebody who's telling you what's wrong with you, or that they don't love you, or whatever? How can, and somebody asked that to me, how can you not take it personally? Well, easier said than done. But if you know who you really are, which is beingness, which is the God consciousness awareness that is love, then there's no way that you can entertain those limiting beliefs that you are unlovable or not worthy. It may take a little while to get there if you have been holding on to those thoughts for a long time because you believe them. So you're releasing the belief. You're releasing the belief that there's something wrong with you, that you're broken. You're not broken. And that's an illusion or delusion. And so once you can start to see that, and if you're doing it with someone like me who's by your side, helping you to become aware and start releasing these thoughts, or in groups, you're going to receive a lot of support, and you're going to start to heal your heart. But then you go into the fun part, which is rewriting the script. That's the fun part, where you start to write what you want. And what you'll discover is that maybe that relationship that you were in is not really what you wanted, but you were so obsessed with trying to get them to complete you and make you feel whole and complete that you lost yourself along the way. And so now you're starting to discover, oh, yeah, that's not really what I wanted. That person has qualities that they're not compatible with me. Then you get to know who you are. And I have to say that a lot of women who have been mothers have a really hard time with this, because you've dedicated all your time and energy in being there for everybody else but yourself. And then when you have to figure out what you want, you're like, I don't know. So that's where it helps to have somebody by your side guiding you and helping you discover your talents, your joys, your passions. And so Rewriting the script will pull you out of the suffering, of the ruminating and, repetitive thoughts that go. And first of all, you're going to start to become aware of them, and you're going to go, I'm not going to pay attention to these anymore because they're not taking me where I want to go. Then you're writing the script, and that's, you're discovering everything that you want. And then you receive. So it's release, rewrite, receive. Then you are in this you've quantum leapt into a new version of you in a new timeline, and you behave differently. You think differently. You think of what you want, not what you don't want. And then everything out there in the 3D changes. So whatever you're projecting now about yourself, about that person, about the world is completely different. The way it is now will be very different after you release, rewrite, receive. And then you start to see your life magically change. And it's an ongoing process. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. And the only thing that's really helped me to heal is this method of releasing. And who started release work was Lester Levinson. He started the Sedona method. And then my teacher spent many years with him. And she also teaches releasing, but it's a different way. The way I do it is through energy healing as well. So when I'm in session, I help you to energetically release what's also embedded in the body of those projections, and to help you to become aware, and then to start to rewrite the script. And again, it's not a one and done. I mean, you don't have to have sessions all the time, but releasing is an ongoing habit that is like brushing your teeth. It's amazing. Whenever you want something or you feel like you're trying to control something, start to release. Go, okay, especially when you're doubting. And that's what you're releasing, is you're releasing doubts. Like when I say, what's in the way for you to have the perfect partner? Most of the time they're doubts. And what are doubts? They're fears. And there are all these limitations. So what's in the way for you to have the great partner is your own thinking, your thoughts, the memories, the stories, the identification that you are who you are because of those stories. That's what you're releasing, is the identification and the emotional charge of taking it all personal. And I have to say, I was able to do this in another situation where I was able to really release the personal part, get myself out of the way, and to also see, that person has some good points that they were addressing with me. And once I was able to see that, it brought me all back to love. And I was just like, it's all about love. Everything is about love. The love is the answer. So cliche, but it's so true. Love is the answer. So once I was able to do that, then the field cleared and harmony was restored. And it was as if nothing ever happened. So this is very powerful work, guys. Very powerful. Where you're not trying to change anybody else. You're just changing yourself. And then you will change thousands of people around you, believe it or not. And especially if you are in a trauma bond with someone, you never know how that connection will shift. And that doesn't mean that you will get back together, or it could be that you get back together, but in a much healthier way. It is possible. I've seen people change drastically. I've seen players become loyal. I've seen people um, who also were unhealed heal, and then their relationship was restored. So a lot of people that do this work with me, in the beginning, they'll say, well, I can change, but that person, they can't change. They're the same. They're who they are. They're very, they're a narcissist, they're an avoidant, they're stubborn. That's what you're releasing. All of those projections onto them, even if they're true. Okay? You're releasing that, and that restores love automatically. Releasing what's in the way for you to have a harmonious relationship first with yourself, and then for everyone else. And then if you are in this trauma bond, you just don't know the magic that this person could show up differently, or they leave and somebody else comes along. But either way, you're going to be at peace, you will feel happy, and you will feel fulfilled. So if this video has come across your feed, you are welcome to join my community. You can book a one-on-one session. I also have events coming up online on Zoom, and I have a private Facebook group. Everything will be in the description in this video. So I look forward to working with you, and I hope you like and subscribe to my channel.